This is Cherif Medawar. I'm so excited to be with you for a call on commercial real estate investing. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I'm just an expert in the world of investing. And as many of you know, I'm a hedge fund manager. Have been so since 2009. We do very well with the hedge fund. MIXIF, Medawar International Group Secured Income Fund. We're actually growing like crazy. We have some wonderful properties. And we also have the education company, cmrei.com, which is a great pleasure to always meet you guys in person. And now we do a lot online and with webinars. So I'm glad to hear so many people joining us and listening to these calls that we do. And let me start by defining what commercial real estate is and what it's all about. Well, it's any income-producing property that has 5 units plus. And the concept of commercial real estate investing is the fact that the value of a commercial property is based on its income, not the comparable sales that actually are in the area. In other words, each property has its own value. The concept here is the property should make you money. That's an asset that produces income, and we're after the income streams forever after. Unlike any other asset, you can own a business. Business assets are great and wonderful stuff, but usually sooner or later the business will die down or it has to be sold. When a property, you can own it, keep improving it, let it pump in millions of dollars in income through the years. Now, if I talk about the definition and the concept, I want to talk about the business model. If you start small using residential properties to convert their use and maybe take single unit commercial properties and add value, then assign or find a partner to partner up with him or her, or flip them, buy them and sell them, or buy them and hold them, that would be a great way to start. So I always talk about DCBA, meaning the definition, the concept, the business model, then the action to take. When I talk about action, I want you to understand there are 12 different types of commercial property. Basically 12. Multi-units, apartment buildings, that's a very desirable type of commercial properties because it's easier to finance and people have a lower risk, meaning if you have 8 units, 1 is vacant, that's a smaller problem than having just a single family home and having the tenant leave, that's 100% vacancy. Strip malls, single tenant retail is a different type, the office buildings, the mobile home parks, the storage facilities, parking garages, gas stations, very profitable stuff. A lot of deals on gas stations lately. You can add value to that with getting advertisement, a car wash, etc., etc. Senior housing, also called residential care facilities, you see it right here, assisted living facilities, that's big business. I mean, how about starting small? Start with a home, convert it to senior housing. Many markets, you don't even have to work on rezoning if it's 6 beds. Hotels and motels, hospitality is always great stuff. Land development, great type of taking something and developing it. You got to know what you're doing. You can sometimes get just the entitlement and then go ahead and flip that and sell it. Industrial and warehouses, and of course green buildings and eco-friendly conversions. Very big business, commercial real estate. There are 12 different types of commercial properties. I've done a lot of trainings on this through the years. We have actually mastered this. We have shared the information with many investors, brokers, and novice investors. So the idea is start small, find the good deal and line up the investors, analyze the potential of the deal, control the deal with a good contract where if it doesn't go your way, you have the right to walk away. Time the due diligence period to make sure it's the right property and all the right numbers make sense, and then set drive to profit with no downside, meaning during the due diligence, once you line up and add value, you can assign it. Maybe you can get the partner. Maybe the seller will partner with you. Maybe you can actually work with somebody, the hard money lenders, do a bridge loan until you add value. So that's the idea with commercial. You start small, and you can look at residential properties and think commercial. How about looking at a single-family residence and convert it to an office space commercial? Corner properties, busy streets, a lot of residential homes, you put it under contract, you go to the actual city planning and zoning department and see if they will approve you for rezoning it. Sometimes they do what's called conditional zoning. I took one time a single-family home that was selling for $550,000 in Santa Clara, California. Got the city planning department to do what's called conditional zoning. That means I can change the use. I changed it to office space. I was able to rent it per square foot. Instead of renting it $2,300, $2,500 a month for residential, I rented it $4,800 a month because it's rented per square foot, rented to attorneys. We just changed the use to office space commercial. And I wouldn't have bought it unless they actually give me the actual approval to rezone it. You can take single-family residential and make it residential care facility. Sometimes you don't even need the rezoning. You can get $3,000 per bed, if not more. It depends on the part of the country you're in. That is the knowledge that can actually make you make money. Where everybody's making pennies, you can make millions, knowing exactly how to position it. By the way, it's not how much you make in a deal, it's how often you can make it. I don't mind making $25,000 in a deal if I can do a deal a month or 2 deals a month. And the way you can start thinking about this is think commercial. How can I get the highest possible income with this piece of land, with this piece of property, with this asset? You can look at a single tenant retail, so the standalone buildings, as an opportunity to make money with no downside. How do you do that? You put them under contract, you line up a large tenant, like a big retailer or a big food company. Once they want to come in and lease it 10, 15 years, it adds value you can assign, but you're starting small, and if nobody calls you, you don't have anybody, you can walk away. You can actually line up tenants for hotels and motels. I've seen people take motels that are not operating well, convert them into Medicare facilities, etc. And guess what? You can create a list of investors if you're focused on an area and you advertise and people call you and you get to know them and you get to make your list of who's got cash, who wants to move, and what they're looking for. And as you start and you build that list and you build rapport with the people, you'll be able to find out exactly what you'll be able to assign fast. Now, often my database of students, they are thinking here, I've done residential, I've taken training before in residential, we've done a lot of residential training, we've even done a lot of discounted notes, etc. So I want to position commercial real estate against residential for a second. Not that one is better or whatever. I mean, I prefer commercial, of course, because for the same time and effort, I have lower risk because it's all based on income. But let me just explain to you. In residential, you identify the deal. You find something below market or something that you can actually add something to it to make a lot of money. And it's all based on comparable sales, per square foot sales in an area. And I can go on and on with examples on that, but in commercial, it's seldom you just find a good deal. It's often, maybe 95% of the time, we have to make it a good deal. We take a property, we change the use, we expand it, we bring a better tenant, it brings more money, we're making the good deal. I don't mind sometimes paying full price for a commercial property because I can add value. I don't like to do that in residential. I like to make my money buying and then forcing the actual value increase. That's a big, big positioning difference. So in commercial, you are the game. It's not the market. You, what do you bring to that game? So if you have the knowledge, if you have the creativity and the ability to communicate, you can make a lot of money in commercial. Now, how do you analyze the numbers on residential? You look at sales comps. Everything is based on comparable sales, comparable sales, comparable sales. In commercial real estate, everything is based on the rental income, the income the project produces, the cap rate, the capitalization rate. Meaning if somebody pays cash, so that capital used, how much return they're going to get. Number 3, in terms of residential versus commercial, you actually, in residential real estate, you put the property under contract and then you close. In commercial, you have a longer period of time for having it under contract with a due diligence period where you can change your mind. You can put it with an option to purchase where you can have more time, and you have access to the property to show it to tenants, to analyze what improvements you can make to it. Now, how do you time the process? Due diligence for price comps and resale on residential versus commercial, where your entire timing process is adding value through income. How can I add value to this property? Commercial. By getting more income. How do I get more income? Do I change the tenant? Do I add more tenants? Do I change the use? That's how you time the process of that due diligence. So you can assign it, or you can find a partner, or you can just go ahead and buy it because you added value. It's going to bring more income. So you strategize with residential, you rehab and resell. It's very short term. Commercial real estate, it's very long term. I like to think I'm going to keep this property forever. So I want to improve the cash flow. Then I want to try to refinance it if the banks allow me to do it, and I hold it long term. I want to talk about refinancing a commercial property. When I buy a property, commercial property that is, and I'm going to make some changes to it to add value, and it's going to bring more income, I go to the same lender, and I say I'd like to refinance. If you're going to go to another lender, most likely you're going to pay points and prepayment penalties, and you're going to have issues. going to the same lender and saying, look, I'd like to work with you again. Look at how the income increased. Can I get a credit line? Can I refinance? And all this is a lot more doable and a lot more feasible and tolerable by the lender. Now, you can make money in a lot of ways with commercial real estate. You can assign the contract to an investor who's looking for that type of property or that type of thing, if you got a good deal lined up and added value. You can, if you can get the loan, you can maybe lease it. If you have, like I talk a lot about retail, storage facilities, warehouses. So you can get a master lease, by the way, on storage facilities and like strip malls, etc. But let's keep it simple. Let's say you have just a small single tenant retail, and you can buy it maybe for $500,000. But you don't have the down payment, you don't have the money, you don't want to partner with anybody. And you convince the seller that he can rent it to you for $4,000 a month. And you put it under contract to rent it for $4,000, but you find a tenant that would like to pay $6,000, so you can lease it for $4,000 and sublease it for $6,000. You will have a lease and sublease situation where you make a $2,000 positive cash flow. After a year of this positive cash flow, if you also were smart enough, like look at number 3 here where it says lease with an option to buy. If you're also having that lease and sublease with an option to buy, you can go to the bank and say, look, I'm paying a lease of $4,000, but I've subleased, I'm getting $6,000. Can I get a loan? You get a loan where the payment is $4,000, you have positive cash flow, bank is happy with the debt ratio, and you have already shown that there is a lease. If it's a good tenant and all this, you're able to make a lot of money with that commercial property without full down payments, without the process of a big loan from the get-go. You're just doing it with a lease and sublease. You can sell the lease to an owner. In other words, if you don't want to get an option to buy the property, you can just tell the owner, look, I'd like to get out. You have leased for me for $4,000. I've subleased it for $6,000. There's a difference here of $24,000 a year. It just, and the lease is for 10 years. You know what? Just go ahead and pay me $50,000 and I'll get out. What a great way for you to make some nice cash and move on to the second deal. So you maybe start doing these for yourself. I always like people when they start, they can find like-minded people and they can find partners. The key point with partners is you got to get along with this partner. You got to add value to that person. They got to add value to you so you can grow together. And your relationship has to be beyond just money. Otherwise, it just gets very sour as soon as either you make a lot of money or you lose some money. So it's got to be you understand the long-term goal and you're really willing to add value to each other and not be counting, okay, I did this, she did that, or he did this. So really having an understanding of how it's going to go. And put everything in writing. If you're going to partner with a family member, make sure you put things in writing. Nothing just like shake hands and all this is usually a lot of misunderstandings. Heck, there are misunderstandings even when you put things in writing because people misunderstand some words or some concepts, etc. The clearer you are in the beginning, the more you think of the exit and what can go wrong, the easier the partnership is going to be. Look, commercial real estate is about money, and there is nothing wrong with discussing all what can happen right from the get-go. How about using private equity lenders? Hard money lenders have a role in the game, and you need to go on your Google website, on the Google search engine, put hard money lenders and your zip code. Call them, ask them what they finance, how much the terms, what do they look for, do they specialize in some type of commercial properties or not. You find those that specialize in an area and on specific type of properties, 2 or 3 type of properties, will be the easiest to work with. They have a huge role in the game. It's a lot easier than partnering and giving people 50%. You may pay these private equity lenders, meaning hard money lenders, you may pay them 12, 15, whatever. But guess what? It's a lot better than giving 50% of the profit at times. Just know that you won't be rich paying 12 and 15%. You just do this for the first couple deals just to get your cash built up and then start going to conventional lenders. And if your credit is bad, but you're going to put big down payments to get good tenants with good credit, no worries. It's going to work for you because in commercial properties, the commercial income, the property is what helps you qualify, not you, not your credit that much. Very important and key. I have seen bankrupt people do commercial real estate deals. Why? Because they got a great tenant, they got a great lease and corporate guarantees and triple net and it's the right property. Also, I like number 7 here, create a syndication. Most of you know, we've talked about syndications. We've done trainings for syndications. We have trainings online on syndication. What is a syndication? It's grouping a bunch of investors with little money each person and creating a nice chunk of cash where you're able to go and buy property all cash so you can negotiate the best possible deal, or put a big cash down payment where banks can fight to get in and give you the loan, because then the loan is only 50% or 60%. Becoming a syndicator, becoming a fund manager and fund owner is a big deal. It's the way of the future. It's the best way for you to take down the biggest deals. But I can assure you, most people are not going to want to go with you if it's your first deal ever. So start small, assign, build a database of investors, then create a syndication once you know how to find good deals, and then you go to these investors and say, how about we go in together? And that's when you add value to the entire group, and you lead the way, and you have financial freedom within no time. I also like the best concept is I buy and increase income, then I refinance. The key thing for me is I want the original money I put in out. The sooner I can take it out, the faster I can go make another deal. But do not over-leverage yourself. Do not over-finance stuff. When do I refinance and take out? When I have a corporate guarantee from a tenant, like in a warehouse, in a big retail building. Or maybe I have a large apartment building where the units are rented at good competitive rent. It is good occupancy. The downside will still be good, and I don't over-leverage. I try to buy it, add value, refinance, improve the terms, and then actually take that money and keep it as cash reserves for opportunities, go hunt for other deals, and repeat the process. Now, commercial real estate, in my opinion, is the best type of investing. You can buy and sell commercial. You can assign them. You can keep them. My favorite is keeping them long-term. I like to flip residential and keep commercial. So I look at commercial like the concept of Warren Buffett, where he says, act as if you're going to own that stock forever. I act as if I'm going to own the property forever. I act like I will never be able to sell this property. Can I live with it? And what if I actually get a 100% loan? Will I be able to make the payment based on the current terms in the market? Of course, I don't get 100% loans. I try to always, add value right away so the income is higher. I try to put some down payments. I didn't always start like this. I wanted to start creatively. You take a little bit more risk in the beginning of your career, and then you take less risk and less risk. But I like, for instance, retail properties. Why? Because I can get the property. I get a tenant that gives me hassle-free incomes called triple net, meaning they pay the lease, net of tax, insurance, and maintenance. There is safety. There's corporate guarantee right there. They give corporate guarantees. I mean, the lease is guaranteed by the entire corporation. I have like a Subway or Jack in the Box. I get cash flow, so I can, because they pay higher lease payments. There is liquidity because it's easy. You can refinance them easy, get credit lines easy. The bank like them. It's freedom because long-term leases, I don't have to do much. I can able to move and enjoy life, do other deals, do whatever. Inflation-proof. Rentals have escalations, so usually when you write 10-year lease, you're able to make it happen. What happens if at the end of the 10th year the market drops? Inflation alone will make you sign at least at the same amount of rent and maybe even a little less. But guess what? If there is inflation, the cost of money is lower, the money value is lower, so my debt, the payment itself seems a lot more doable, and I enjoy owning assets because inflation then works for me. The value of the building increases because replacement cost is higher. The actual rent increases kicks in even higher. So escalations are very doable, and they are standard in commercial leases that negotiated in the beginning. Easy to bequeath. God forbid you die earlier than expected. You can pass them on to your kids, grandkids. You can put them forever. I mean, I like to think of you buying properties forever. When do you sell commercial properties? When you have a better deal, when somebody offers you ridiculous offers, when you have something else that you want to do with the money that's urgent. But other than that, you need to think, hey, you want to keep it. And what a great asset to keep pumping you through the years, endless streams of income. Now, the best type of investing is commercial because it's an opportunity to grow. You can grow very big. You can do joint ventures. You can do syndications, or you can raise money. You can literally buy a property and then fractionalize the sale by making it your first syndication. So it's your property. You're selling it in pieces. We can be as creative as we want to be, provided we have good income and the property makes financial sense. You know, I use a system called the FACT system, patented 2003. So let's talk about the facts. What do the acronym stand for? F for finding the great deal and the quality tenants. A for analyzing the numbers and the local trend in that market. C is to control the property through the good negotiation and the actual contract that you're going to actually have the seller sign. Time the process of the due diligence and the financing, or maybe the syndication. If you're going to do the financing instead of through a bank or private lender, is by raising capital from people. You time the process to go ahead and close, and then the S is to strategize by managing the property profitably and maximizing the profit by adding value to the highest and best use. This is very, very powerful. I've taken properties. You can look here. This is in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico, the street, literally own the street, property by property. I bought the properties, bought some of them empty, brought in tenants, refinanced, cashed out, bought another property, added a tenant, changed the use, took the upstairs, put it for rent as executive suites, put it for rent per night. Instead of renting it $2,000 a month, I rented the upstairs, furnished it, rented at $379 per night, used an outside company so I don't have to deal with any hassles. I can exchange it with any place in the world when you actually have something like this. It's just a phenomenal way to invest creatively. I try not to over-leverage myself. I try to have positive cash flow from the deal from as early on in the deal, and I have helped students do it. I had many success stories. You can go on YouTube, put Cherif Medawar, you'll see some tremendous success stories. And this one of my favorite success stories, Stephen Yu, you can see 7-Eleven back then. He was investing in residential home. He had rental income, waiting for the property to increase in value. And then one day he said he got a ridiculous offer from somebody. He's in California, of course. You get these crazy offers in the Bay Area. And he said, Cherif, if I sell it, what should I do? I don't want to pay taxes. I want to stay in real estate. Do you think I can do commercial? But of course, why don't you do a 1031 exchange, meaning you don't pay taxes, you exchange the property, you're not selling it, and you exchange it into a commercial property. Let's get this property, let's get a big tenant, single tenant, and then you're going to have a long-term lease. Well, guess what? He followed the training and the advice and the support and the direction to the T. Stephen himself is an instructor of math, so he understands the value of education and following the rules. He sold it, sold the house, exchanged the profit, exchanged the deal into this property, got 7-Eleven to sign a long-term lease. The market dropped in 2009, 10, 11, 12, and now it's coming back strong, and he was okay. He was getting the triple net income with the corporate guarantee. Give some of the best. Actually, if you go on YouTube and put Cherif Medawar and put Stephen Yu, you'll see his own video success story. He did it in the Learning Annex in San Francisco. He actually got very emotional about it. But truly life-changing. I mean, one deal can change your life. By the way, it also afforded him his dream home in San Marino, California. Look at how beautiful that home is. It is his nice home. I hope these bushes and these trees already grew. This is the picture we took a couple of years ago. All right, so we did a training. I called it the Commercial Real Estate Roundtable Power Series. Why? Because we took 12 different types of commercial properties that I shared with you earlier, and we really went through it, which is how to find each property, all the possible websites you can imagine, how to analyze the numbers, how to analyze the trend, how to actually write the contract for each type, how to negotiate it, because you negotiate a land development different than a hotel deal, different than a strip mall, and we did all that type by type by type, and it was just phenomenal training. You know, I want to first glance over some of the benefits, and so you don't think I'm being just all positive. I want to talk about some of the disadvantages of some of these type of commercial properties. You see, you've got to understand it's important to know the pros and the cons. The biggest mistake you can make is buy a property you can't afford to handle. Not afford financially, but is the assessment of effort. The best example of this is I remember in one of the classes I was teaching, this lady came to me, she said, Cherif, I'm so inspired by your teaching. I have some money, we sold some properties, we're sitting on a lot of cash. I'm going to go buy a bed and breakfast over right by the, I don't know what area in Northern California where there is an ocean view. Bed and breakfast with an ocean view. We can afford it. We have our eye on some nice property. I said, man, let me just explain to you what a bed and breakfast is. You are going to make breakfast to some strangers every single morning. Can you do that? Because he said, that's what you want to run it. You want to run it, right? She goes, oh my God, make breakfast to strangers? I don't even make a sandwich for my husband. I said, okay, well, you see, you will have to clean. You'll have to have staff. You'll have to, this is not some fantasy. You got to understand the reality. Maybe a single tenant retail will be better for her. Maybe a storage facility managed by a management company. Maybe, you know, I've had people say to me, I want to buy an apartment building. And they buy an apartment building, next thing they know, they can afford the management company, and they're running it themselves, but they don't have the time. They get frustrated, and now they want to dump it. They end up losing in real estate. Yes, it does happen. People can lose in real estate if they don't know how to have an entry point, if they don't know the benefits and the disadvantages. It's only a fool thinks in terms of all positive stuff. So let's get started with some positive stuff and some negative stuff on all these types. Apartment buildings, for example. Let me glance through this very quickly. The benefits. Cheaper to acquire because they have income. So the income of the property helps you qualify. They're easier to finance because most lenders like them and understand. Easier to structure creative financing because most sellers are a bit more sophisticated. They can carry a note. They can do this. They can do an option. Then you can have access, etc. Generally, good trend. Apartment buildings are a bit more resilient. I mean, look at the trend right now. Some people can't afford homes in some markets, so the rent goes up. Some people can afford homes, so guess what? You can take an apartment building, you can make it condos. So you can create a trend for yourself with apartment buildings if you're creative enough and understand what you're doing in your local market. It's lower risk because the more units, the better. I usually like 25 units plus. I've done 6 units before, but again, Sunnyvale, California, Silicon Valley, I've done Santa Clara. And you know what? I've had my share of challenges with that. We'll talk about the disadvantages, but it was a lower risk. Why? Easy to finance, right away, everybody understood. And when I wanted to turn around and sell it, I had multiple offers. The advantages, you can go month to month, you can do long-term leases. There is a potential immediate upside. I mean, I have had students that take an apartment building, they follow the checklist we give them, and they immediately cut expenses, immediately add some value by increasing rent and renting the other unit, doing some rehab. Immediately within 30, 40 days, they're already increasing the income of the property, and there is an exponential return. If you increase by $1 in the bottom line, you can sell it $10 more to $16 more. It depends on the market. Steady income stream. Apartment buildings bring you income, income, income every month. Some people need shelter. Easier to resell, I'm telling you. I've never had a hard time reselling an apartment building. There is always somebody wanting an apartment building. Usually, entry-level apartment buildings, 25 units and less. By the way, an apartment building usually is 5 units plus. Less than that, it's a fourplex. It goes under residential lending. So apartment buildings, 5 units plus. Plenty of management companies that want to help you. Be careful how you sign the management company. Create an incentive for that. It's a very big advantage. Easy to find people to help. What are the disadvantages? There are a lot of amateur operators out there and first-time homeowners, and they think they're going to make it. They realize it's a nightmare. All it takes is one renter to tell you, I'm going to sue you. You have no right to knock on my door. Why are you calling me again? This is harassment. I mean, you know, a hiccup in the market, and you got a renter that becomes a feisty fighter. So if you're a first-time homeowner, get some good training, understand there are ways to do it right, get some coaching, some support, because even if you're going to put a management company, you better know how to manage the managers. Often properties have deferred maintenance. The biggest lie in apartment building transactions is the seller tells the new buyer, oh, it's nothing. We'll call you. That roof, that leak stuff, it's just patching and you're going to make it happen. Number 4, a lot of headaches with tenants. I mean, I can't say that enough. A lot of headaches with tenants. I don't like residential tenants because most of them in lower end residential can be a problem. So you have to set the rules, enforce the rules, don't make exceptions, be very careful. Number 5, there's a lot of liability and exposure. Kids play outside, and I had an apartment building where somebody moved out the refrigerator, and I got a code enforcement letter, and they said, you have 3 days to remove it or we'll charge you $500 a day. And guess what? I was out of town. So I was struggling calling so many companies, and it cost me a lot of money to move that stupid refrigerator, you know? So, excuse me. So a lot of competition in apartment buildings, so if the market gets tough and they drop the rent, you have to be competitive, you have to drop the rent, otherwise you're going to lose renters. Too many laws. There is the rental law, there is how you write the contract, there is how you talk to them, how to collect, what to do. So you got to make sure you follow the law of your state. It's capital intensive to keep them up. You constantly got to keep cash reserves. Biggest mistakes people make, they buy an apartment building, run it to the ground, then they want to sell it and make money. Ain't going to make money like this. You didn't run it the right way, so you got to understand, capital intensive, very big disadvantage with apartment building. It's not like a retail building where I buy it once, I put a tenant once, I turn around, I leave it, I got the tenant for 10 years, they maintain the building, they pay me triple net, etc. So disadvantage in apartment buildings is capital intensive. Many sellers have no profit and loss on or any financials. I can't tell you how many mom and pops I have approached. I want to buy the building, and they want to give me this piece of paper. They say, well, here are my numbers. Trash is this, electric is that, I have so many years. Like, what are the reasons? Do you have a profit and loss statement? Oh, no, we don't do that. This is mom and pop operation. Well, guess what? If you're running a syndication, or if you're getting a loan from the bank, it's not going to fly very easy. It's going to be very hard to finance these. And then there is always too much turnover. People sign for 6 months lease. 3 months into it, they tell you, I want to leave. What are you going to do? Sue the guy? You got to constantly fight, constantly rehab. So it's a lot of turnover. It's not like the way I like it. I like longer term. But let's talk storage facilities, for instance. I like them. Let's talk about benefits. Easier to acquire. It has income. Easier to finance. Lenders like them. Recession-resistant business. It's been proven through the last recession in 2009-10. Can be phased out by technology, and you always need storage facilities. Not expensive to build. Actually, they're some of the cheapest to build of all commercial. It's very inexpensive to maintain. Can be developed in undesirable locations where the land is cheaper, like near airports, railroads. Statistically, 60% of occupants live within 5-mile radius. How would you like that for a targeted area for marketing? Most customers find the facility because of outdoor signage. So it's pretty simple. Get one that has good access on the freeway and good signage, visibility, I mean. Potential immediate upside increase in value. You can change some use. You can expand some units. You can increase the ceiling, get some boats in there. Very easy to add value to it. Easy to evict the non-payers because you just got to, usually in most states, you put an ad in the paper, it's sweep room it, advertise the stuff and sell it. You've seen Storage Wars, these shows. I mean, they just do a public auction. And don't get too excited about the stuff that's going to be left behind in these units. I mean, please, I can't believe when students tell me, I want to get into storage facilities because people default, they can leave some good stuff. Legally, you can have it, you should advertise it, public auction, and it's worth pennies. Gosh, I've seen some of these shows, the guy made $2,000, he's celebrating. Are you kidding me? I'm talking about 200,000, I'm talking about 2 million. They're simple to manage, plenty of opportunities for additional income in storage facilities. Signage, antennas outside, you can take the operation with the couple that's running it for you and lease it to them and have them sell, rent trucks or sell boxes, etc., etc. What are the disadvantages for storage facilities? So we don't get too excited here. Let me tell you 8 disadvantages. A lot of amateur operators and first-time owners get into these. So that's a big disadvantage. Why? Because then they want to flip it with you and they have a lot of problems there. You got to understand. You got to know it before you get into it. Often you have a cluster of facilities in one area, so they're all competing for the same market. So what happens? They compete on price because it's storage facilities and storage facilities and storage facilities. There's no big difference there. It's like I don't need big service, okay? Maybe I need access hours or whatever. So be careful. There is a formula for it. We have coaching for it. We can go into details, but let me just glance over this. People or business storing illegal or dangerous items could be a big deal for you. I can't tell you how many times I've had students that have storage facilities, didn't know what they were doing. They had people store paint and stuff that caused fires and issues. Many large franchisors and operators, this is huge disadvantage because they control the market. People like to go to use storage and all the big stuff versus the smaller ones. So you have to compete on price and always have a fresh look and maintain it well. You must have good managers for storage facilities, otherwise they can steal, they can create problems, they can mismanage, can create a lot of challenges for you. that's a disadvantage. You're dealing with too much. You must have good systems and good software. There are great software. You can handle the entire thing based on technology now, access in, access out, cameras, etc. You've got to have regular upkeep to maintain the unit. It's very important people store their stuff. It's valuable. You have to actually make sure it's well maintained, well secured, and again, too much turnover. So that's just another one. Let's get into hospitality. I know I'm throwing a lot at you because I love this stuff. I hope I'm not overwhelming you. Just pay attention. Hospitality. Now, I love hotels and motels, one of my favorite type of commercial products. In many markets, if you choose the right market, it could be the best improvement on any land. Okay. What's so exciting? Creative financing is very common. I mean, I can't tell you how many motel deals. Take an area like Anaheim, California. Almost 50% of the deals done in the last 3 years have seller carryback of some sort. You have lease with an option to buy for hospitality. Phenomenal stuff. I love hospitality because of the creativity between owners. Number two, valuation is based on income. Huge benefit. I mean, hospitality business, hotels and motels, income is king. It's average daily rate, ADR. It's average income. So you have rates at this, high rates, lower rates, walk-ins, you have corporate, and then you take the average and you have a multiplier. Okay. Clear cyclical pattern. You buy on the downtrend, you can sell on the uptrend, or refinance on the uptrend. Most flexible type of property. You can rent them nightly. You can rent them weekly. You can do extended stays. I mean, phenomenal type in terms of flexibility. You can easily convert them to other uses. You can do them medical facilities. You can use them for apartment buildings. You can change the use. It's very easy with most hospitality properties. You can easily get a brand name and management company. I tell you, you can get a good property in good location, talk to Hilton, and they're going to say this will fit the brand of residents of the Hilton Garden Inn. It fits the brand of Hampton Inns. We want you to spend some money and do this and that, and they can manage it. You sign a management company contract, and you're having it managed by some of the top management companies worldwide. Sheraton, Hilton, Marriott, all these big players. Potential immediate upside, increase in value. I know hotel business very well. I tell you, I can venture to say there isn't a hotel in this country I can go into unless I can increase its value. How do you open the reservation system? Where do you actually open the reservation channel? You got to learn that, and if you don't know it, you bring the professionals, the management companies, and you can have an immediate increase in value. Many added income opportunities. A lot of ancillary income. You can actually do so much. You can do weddings. You can have tents outside. You can do exhibition stuff in the parking. You can do exotic cars, shows. You can do inside the building. You can lease the facilities of food and beverage. You can do art shows in the meeting rooms. You can do weddings. You can put antennas on the roof. I can go through 100 opportunities, and we have done so in our trainings, as you see right here, the commercial real estate training. I mean, just brainstorm so many different ways by type of properties to add income opportunities. Many creative uses. You can split it into condo hotel, timeshare. Phenomenal opportunities. I can give you case studies on this and tell you how much money I made with this. A lot of experience. And when I manage hotels, I made the owners and the Hilton company a lot of money. Love that type of building. It's a lot of fun. Takes a lot of pride in it. And it's really exciting. You can syndicate and create a package with lifestyle benefits. I tell you something great about hospitality. You can start small with a motel. Improve it, sell it, exchange into a bigger one. Exchange into a bigger one. If you just like to own one property at a time, and now you've exchanged all the way to $1 billion, I'll show you some $1 billion properties. And right there, they exist in this country and worldwide. It is not difficult to keep growing in hospitality, and you build that network of people, buyers, and all this, and there is a whole world by itself in the hospitality. So what are the disadvantages? It's a business and a real estate endeavor. So if you don't know the business, you better get somebody to run the business. It's capital intensive to operate. It's one of the highest capital intensive to operate. I talked about expensive to operate apartment buildings. Let me tell you, it's nothing next to a hotel. You can have somebody have a party in the room, destroy the room, they left, and now you have to go chase them and charge them. They dispute the charge. But you know what? If you manage it right, you can handle it. Nevertheless, capital intensive. You must watch out for deferred expenses. If you're going to buy a hospitality building, or you're going to buy a hotel or motel, excuse me, you've got to do a very good due diligence. You've got to really know what you're doing. And I'm going to tell you something. Number 4, The disadvantage is very few investors know how to do proper due diligence. I have checklists on this. I've had these checklists. I had appraisers that came and asked me for these checklists, became students of ours, took coaching with us because they wanted to know how to do the due diligence on different types of properties. And there is nothing better than knowing how to do hotel and motel due diligence. It requires specialized management. This is not just any type of business. Specialized management. It has its own type of reservation system, management, law, legal stuff, etc. Liability and exposure in hotels. Somebody can fall. Somebody can swallow something because they're in the restaurant. There's always big liability and exposure. Remember, we have an asset protection program. We show you how to strip the equity of any of your properties legally and be completely secure. But nevertheless, it's liability and exposure in hotels. Often professional brands are your competition. If you want to be a small mom-and-pop hotel or motel operator, and right down the street there is Residence Inn by Marriott, guess what? They're going to take a big chunk of the market. Too many laws. Hotels have too many laws. You got to know how to evict. It's a nightly stay, so it's easier to evict, but you got to do it right. You got many ways to handle staff, etc. Some areas are controlled by a few hoteliers, meaning some owners of hotels just control an area. And they're just like 4 or 5 owners, and they have each 2-3 hotels, and you can get in there. Well, that's a disadvantage. Often properties have seasonal business. In hotels, you got the summer season better than the winter. In some markets, you have winter better than summer. Some you have weekend business, not midweek. So you got to watch out for that and know how to manage labor and manage that business and opportunities. Of course, I can continue going to land development benefits and disadvantages and continue all this. The goal of this webinar is to provide you with the general information on each type of commercial property. I want you to extend this and study the basics. You can then make your own choice with commercial real estate that you want to master. You see, you can choose which type. If you just want to know them all, you're going to get overwhelmed. But once you understand each type, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you're going to say, this is what's going to fit my lifestyle. This is what I want to grow in. Because if you don't, you're going to like them all. And that's the problem. That's like going to a buffet and you want to eat everything. The idea is taste, and say, I want to eat this. I want to focus on that. I want to make it happen. And you work with experts to invest. So commercial properties are the way to go. And choosing the right commercial property is very important. Now, after this call, I want you to call 407-608-5448 to get the exams that I have. These are quizzes, and you can test your commercial real estate knowledge. Guys, you can go on YouTube and put Cherif Medawar and put commercial real estate roundtable. And you're going to see success stories from brokers that say they are CCIM, which is the highest designation in commercial real estate training for brokers and realtors. And I have people that say they have 30 years experience and they learn so much. I have the roundtable exams. They're right there. It just goes over what you studied, and you will get to test yourself to know your level of knowledge. It will tell you immediately how much you need. Finding great deals and quality tenants, analyzing the numbers. All this, I want you to know the level of knowledge you're in, because then you're going to understand. I mean, we'll talk about retail. Okay, in the Commercial Real Estate Roundtable Power Series, we provide you with all the information you need to start investing in any deal. We'll tell you the definitions, the concept, the business model, and application for success, the advantages, the disadvantages, how to find each type, give you the website, analyze them, control them, time the process, and strategize. I mean, we go through every single thing. I mean, I give you the websites you need to read, how to find, which websites you're going to go to. This is a sample right here of what you're going to study. This is intensive stuff. This is full of content. Directly the websites where you're going to find the best deals. Where to analyze for free, themansourgroup.com, retailtrafficmag.com. You want to pay for some analysis that's done by venture companies, rcanalytics.com, reis.com. You got to go to analyze the trends. I'm going to show you how to do it step by step in that training. I'm going to tell you something. Imagine you're a broker listening right now to me, and you say, well, I wonder how can I use analyzing a trend? Well, you're a broker. You're trying to get a listing. What do you usually do? You call some owner of a property and you leave a message. Hi, my name is Johnny, or my name is Susie. And I would like to know if you're interested in selling, because I have buyers that may be interested in your apartment building or shopping center or storage facility, whatever. My number is this, and please call me. Well, guess what happens? They don't call you. Then you call again, you're like annoying them. What if you actually call and say, hi, my name is Susie or Johnny, and I have done a trend analysis for where your property is, your commercial property is, and I'd like to send you that report, but I don't have your email. There's absolutely no obligation. It's going to tell you what's happening in the trend in your area, what's happening with the values and rental and the prices. There's no obligation. I'd like to send you that analysis of the trend. Who wouldn't call you back? Any commercial real estate owner is going to want to know what trend is happening in my area. Is the trend up, down? Is the market coming? Is the market going? Are we going to go in another recession? And how do you get that information? I'm going to give you exactly where you can get the trends for free, the special websites that do that by type of property. One big boost in investing is not just getting a property at the right time, in the right location, and doing stuff to it to add value, but understanding the entire trend of that area so it can work to your advantage. Office and medical buildings. Same stuff. I'll go through DCBA, definition. Here it is, definition, concept, business model, and application for success. And I'll tell you where the website to find them, how to evaluate them, how to actually understand the trend of this gas station. Same stuff, website, everything you ever dreamed of. This is your last training if you have ever needed training. And if you pay attention to it, you will get the updates and you will have a system to invest, and you will know why I created the FACS system and why we've had over 1,000 video success stories on the website and on the places like YouTube. Senior housing, assisted living facilities is key. We show you what contracts to write so you don't complicate your life. When you lock in the deal, you don't have a downside. If it doesn't fit your needs, you walk away with no obligation. I mean, guys, there are three main parts to any due diligence: the property inspection for the condition, the financials for income and expenses, and the legal documents, the title, the liens, etc. We're going to show you how to do that by type of property, show you checklists that you can use, show you exactly how you can take the finances and who's going to finance you, what company, how to manage, who's out there managing these type of properties for you, and you can make money. We also have case studies by type of property. What I love most in all the training is how to take any property to its highest and best use. We took mobile home parks. We have a lot of investors doing mobile home parks. And we gave them a list with a lot of actual, this is a video where people interact. So how do you add value for mobile home parks? Billboards. You actually cell phone towers. You actually do laundry, propane service, filtered water dispensing. All that stuff adds value, adds income, create a convenience store, create a coffee shop, a dry cleaning. You can add RV and boat storage. You can have bait and tackle shop, recreation rentals, miscellaneous services like cable TV, this and that, amenities, create a gym, shuttle service. I mean, the list continues, but you got the idea. How do you take it to its highest and best use? You can maybe take your warehouse and industry, rezone, do on and on. I think you got the idea here of why we have 12 different types of commercial properties that we have actually worked hard to bring you the formula and the process that will make you money. If you're serious about investing in commercial real estate, guys, there is a system for it. This is not something you want to wing. This is something that you want to do step by step and be methodical about it. Test your commercial real estate knowledge in the real world. Call the office, understand what you're doing, and let me tell you what we do with the Power Series for the Commercial Real Estate Roundtable. It is designed for you and your success. This is #1 commercial course in the country. We've had people wanting to buy it from us, rebrand it, white label it, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm very proud of the work we've done, and I don't go for that. We continue. We created it. We control it. We have the copyrights for it, and it's a product that gives you 3 things. Step 1 is dedication. I'm going to send you. You're going to have access to 12 DVDs covering intensive 120 hours of video trainings with me in the seminar room with the students that are brainstorming and talking. You see the comments and the laughter and the challenges, and students challenging each other, etc. 120 hours is about 10 hours per type of commercial practice. And I want you to know, these are professionally edited and condensed for 100% content. All right, I got too excited. We have focused split screen learning method where you can watch me standing and talking, or one of the students presenting something and we're challenging him or her, and on the other side you can see exactly what they're pointing at on the PowerPoint of that. We have the PowerPoint right there on the screen, so you don't have to struggle and try to read it. It's very clear. And you can be in the comfort of your own home or in the office. God, I love it for those that actually, instead of going to break in their office, they can sit and learn something and find ways to add to their income, so eventually you can leave that job and have the freedom that a commercial property can provide. Commercial checklist for due diligence included for each commercial property type. I like checklists. I believe in checklists. Even doctors that do heart surgery now use a checklist. There's nothing like having a checklist. So, commercial real estate test included in each property type, so you can check your skills and make sure you understand. There is nothing like questioning yourself. We create a checklist, and we also give you a test, a quiz at the end of each of the trainings that we're doing with these type of properties. Why? So you can make sure you didn't miss anything. Oh, what do we mean by this? So how do you add value on that? So how do you do this? And that really scores you and tells you if you've done it right or not. So you're really earning while you're learning. Now, number 2 step that's included in your program is testing and correcting. After you complete each commercial real estate roundtable DVD, you will test your knowledge online. You will receive your score, and your one-on-one coach, I will assign a coach for you that will walk you through your results to explain and clarify any misunderstandings or mistakes you may have made. Let me repeat this. You will have a coach that will call you to explain anything you've done wrong on the test. How about that? Huh? People want coach, want guidance. Take me by the hand. I'll do it for you. I got the coach's handpicked. You will retake your quiz and finish the Power Series education component with an overall commercial real estate exam, and you will master this. So step 1 was the learning. Step 2 was the testing and correcting. And step 3, you get support while you go out there and invest. The Commercial Real Estate Power Series gives you access to my expert investors. The program gives you 3 coaching sessions with one of my commercial real estate experts of your choice for multi-family, mobile homes. I got Jerry. I got Annie for storage facilities. I got people for all kinds of commercial real estate. So you will have a coach that will call you and give you 3 sessions with no additional charge. Why do I want to do this? I'm going to create the best success stories with this. We've got 12 different types of commercial properties. You finish one by one. You do the test online. It shoots it to us. We rate it for you. Somebody calls you, walks you through it, and you have 3 sessions. So if you're really investing out there, you're trying to invest with something with no money down, something creative, we're going to walk you through it, take you by the hand. Now, what's the value for this? The roundtable DVDs, I'm doing them right now at $997. That includes apartment buildings, including duplexes, 3plexes, 4plexes, and apartment buildings. Nobody has it down to a science like this. Find, analyze, control, time the process, and strategize to make millions. Storage facilities. How do you do it? How do you create storage facilities that make sense for personal belongings, business belongings, boats, RVs, etc.? Hospitality, hotels, motels, resorts, marinas, timeshares, land development, all types, retail, strip malls, single tenant, shopping malls, office, executive, medical, government offices, senior housing and assisted living facilities. This is big, guys. This is very big, and it's easy to do from residential into that. Mobile home parks and RV facilities, huge. So many ways to make money with that. Warehouses and industrial, parking garages, gas stations. Let me tell you something. You will have 1-year membership access to the video training and updates at the cmrei.com. We're going to give you the passcode, special section on the sites with all the real estate legal documents, live support webinars, and guess what? One-on-one commercial real estate exam. The coaching session with commercial real estate experts that work with me, that I've known them for years, this is $750. The value of this training, $2,147. Here's what I'm going to do. today, call 407-608-5448. I'm going to give it all to you for $997. I repeat, less than $1,000. You will have 12 DVDs with 120 hours of commercial real estate training, giving you the direct websites you need to find the best properties, the best deals, the best tenants, the best ways to analyze the trends, the best ways to analyze the numbers, the checklist you need, the quizzes, the exams, the support, all what I just shared with you. Now, why is it for limited time only? Is this a trick? No, I'm going to tell you very specifically. We just submitted the entire training program to the National Association of Realtors to get the designation. All this, we're trying to sell it now through the CCIM. Each DVD set with the full training will add credits to brokers, and it's going to sell each for about $1,000. You're getting 12 for $1,000 or $997. We're going to sell each for that. So I figured since I still control it, I've already done the work, it doesn't cost me anything, I don't have to sell it to anybody else. It is my call, it is our line, it is our company, we're controlling everything. Take advantage of that for this time it's available. Those that enroll today, I'll give you an introductory training that I've done a few years ago. It's called 0 to Million. This was an intensive 2-day training. This is 16 hours of the best work I've done. It shows you how I predict markets where they're going. It shows you how I create syndications. It actually tells you what's coming next, what's happening in the market, how you can go from zero to making millions. Guys, I wasn't born a multimillionaire. I did it. There is a way to create wealth. There's a way to maintain wealth. There's a way to protect wealth. Now I'm going to throw in that entire set. By the way, that training, people paid $3,000 for it. You can quote me. I repeat, that training, people paid $3,000. We'll throw in the eco-friendly commercial real estate strategies on DVD, and we're going to give you access to the national tenants, which is over 4,000 national tenants we have online. All that stuff is huge. $997. Enroll today. Call 407-608-5448. I repeat, this actual investment is for a limited time only. Call us tonight, 407-608-5448. I always like to keep my calls 60 minutes or less. It is 59 minutes and 22 seconds. So I want to thank you all for listening. I hope you are as excited as I am about the future. If you have been procrastinating, I want you to know something. This is not come to a live event. This is a live event coming to you at home. I am not going to be doing this forever. I'm going to eventually pull them out so we can sell them through these new avenues we have through the National Association of Realtors. Take advantage of it. Make it happen tonight. 407-608-5448 and be my next success story. Thank you so much for listening to me. May God bless. Good night. Until next time.